In the vast history of American coinage, there are certain coins that stand as more than just pieces of metal. They become storytellers of an era, witnesses of a nation's struggles and triumphs, and symbols of an economy reshaping itself after years of hardship. One such coin is the 1946 Wheat Penny, a small copper cent that may look ordinary in the palm of the hand, but behind its design, its production, and its circulation lies a deep history that connects to the end of World War II, the dawn of a new American century, and the shifting balance of global power. When you pick up a 1946 Wheat Penny, you are not just holding a coin. You are holding the first post-war cent, the first penny struck in an America no longer under the shadow of wartime production, the first copper coin issued after years of wartime zinc-coated steel cents and copper rationing, and with that comes a tale that numismatists, historians, and collectors have studied for decades. This is a story of how one coin embodies the rebirth of a nation's minting system, and how even the smallest denomination reflects the heartbeat of its people. The year 1946 was unlike any that had come before. The world was still reeling from the devastation of World War II. Millions of soldiers had returned home. Factories once devoted to weapons and tanks were now refitted for automobiles and consumer goods, and the United States Mint found itself facing a new era of coinage production. During the war, the demand for copper had been so high that the government diverted almost all copper resources to ammunition, shell casings, and other military necessities. That is why in 1943, the Mint produced pennies out of steel coated with zinc, a change that shocked Americans and caused endless confusion in circulation. By 1944 and 1945, the Mint returned to using a copper alloy made partly from recycled wartime shell casings. But when 1946 arrived, the Mint officially shifted back to its regular pre-war composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. The return to true copper marked a symbolic step back into normal life in America, and the 1946 Wheat Penny became a marker of this transition. The design of the coin continued to honor Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent on the reverse, a design that had been in use since 1909, when the centennial of Lincoln's birth was celebrated. This familiar image reassured the American public that while the world had changed, their coinage still carried a continuity of national identity. Yet within that familiar design, the 1946 issue carried its own significance for collectors. It represented the first year of true post-war copper pennies, and with nearly 1 billion pieces struck across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, it became a coin of abundance in everyday life. For the average American, the coin jingling in their pocket might have helped buy a loaf of bread or a cup of coffee, but for today's collector, that same penny might hold a story worth far more than its face value. At Philadelphia Mint produced over 950 million of these coins without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint added another 215 million marked with a small d beneath the date, and the San Francisco Mint contributed 198 million bearing the S Mint mark. In total, more than 1.3 billion wheat pennies dated 1946 entered circulation, making it one of the most heavily minted years of the wheat penny era. Yet, despite this massive production, the survival of high-grade examples, especially those with sharp strikes and lustrous original red color, is far less common than raw numbers might suggest, and this scarcity in pristine condition is what drives the coin's collectible value. Today, numismatists often study the 1946 wheat penny not only for its mintage figures, but also for its varieties and errors that make it more desirable. Certain double die obverses and repunched mint marks are known to exist, and these varieties transform an ordinary cent into a rare treasure sought by specialists. For example, a 1946 D wheat penny with a strong repunched mint mark can fetch multiples of its standard value at auction, and collectors have spent decades cataloging these minor variations, each error a reminder that even in times of mass production, small imperfections slip through and create unexpected rarity. Beyond the coin's technical aspects lies its cultural significance. The 1946 wheat penny circulated during the booming post-war economy, when American families were moving into new homes in the suburbs, when automobiles rolled off assembly lines at record pace, when GIs returned to college through the GI Bill, and when a young generation looked toward prosperity rather than sacrifice every cent that passed from hand to hand in those years, carried with it the energy of a society rebuilding itself and striving toward progress. For children in the 1940s and 1950 seconds, the wheat penny was often the first coin they saved in jars or piggy banks, and many collectors today recall their earliest fascination with coins beginning with wheat cents found in Changetto. Truly appreciate the 1946 wheat penny is to view it not as an isolated artifact, but as a chapter in the broader story of American money. The Wheat Penny series itself spanned from 1909 to 1958, covering both world wars, the Great Depression, and the rise of the United States as a superpower. By the time the last wheat penny was struck, the coin had already become a symbol of an America that had endured hardship and emerged stronger. Within that narrative, the 1946 issue stands as a bridge coin linking the years of war to the years of post-war growth. Collectors value the coin today not only for its history, but also for its potential as an affordable entry point into numismatics, while circulated examples remain common and inexpensive. Higher-grade uncirculated specimens graded Ms. 65 or better, especially with original red luster, can command strong premiums at auction. Some coins in pristine condition have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars, showing that even a 1-cent coin can carry surprising financial value when preserved with care. When we examine the legacy of the 1946 wheat penny, we discover that it represents more than currency. It represents resilience. It represents the spirit of a nation emerging from war. It represents the beauty of numismatics, where even the smallest coin can open a window into history. And for a collector holding one today, there is a sense of connection not only to the millions of Americans who once spent it, but also to the great story of America itself. And that is why the 1946 wheat penny continues to fascinate historians, collectors, and storytellers. A Lycithus is not just a copper cent. It is a living artifact of 1946, a year of hope, transition, and rebirth. And as we dive deeper into its history, its production, its varieties, and its value, we find enough richness in this humble penny to fuel hours of exploration, reflection, and storytelling, making it a perfect subject for anyone passionate about coins, history, and the legacy of American currency.